This is the Renault Kadjar and it's the S edition, which is probably the one I'd go for if I was buying. It's available for just under €31,500 on the market right now. Now, if you're looking for something like this for your family, then I'm going to give a look through in this car of what it's like for practicality, what's the boot like, how safe is it in terms of end cap, and just how bigger is it than something like a Nissan Qashqai, a Hyundai Tucson, or is it all kind of very closely similar? Now, if you fancy spending an extra €2,500, well then you could find yourself in the GT line version of the Kadjar, which has got upgraded alloy wheels, a Bose sound system, leather interior, which comes heated, and a few other bits and bobs. 33,995 is where one of the GT line models starts from, and in this iron blue colour, you have to admit it looks a lot better. Now, one thing I don't want to say when I'm too close to the car is it shares an awful lot with the Nissan Qashqai, but it's a little bit dearer. But is it worth it? Now, even though the Kadjar is based on the same chassis as the Nissan Qashqai, the boot is actually quite a bit bigger. So you get this rear parcel shelf, very easy to remove that. Just pop out the side of it like that. They've even included somewhere for you to put this. That's something that I really especially like. Goes in there, out of the way. There's a boot liner floor if you've got dogs or bikes and anything like that. And you can also move the rear seats forward, just like that, and they go fully flat. So you can do all that from the boot. And it's also worth me pointing out that the Kadjar has one of the biggest boots of any crossover that's currently on the market. Now, the rear of the car is also nice and spacious. For starters, by the way, I love these keys. Look how small they are. Like, they're just tiny. You can just pop them in your pocket and job done. So in this S edition, you have a glass panoramic sunroof, but it doesn't compromise roof height. So roof height is still really, really generous. And obviously that huge glass area is lovely. It just brightens up the interior, adds a certain sort of feeling of class about it, and does the job beautifully. Down here, Renault have included an old style charging port, 2 USB charging ports, and that's for rear passengers alone. There's another 2 up the front and an auxiliary output as well. So Renault, well done. Now, if you did the sensible thing in your life and only had 2 children because they're just too bloody expensive, then this middle area has got 2 cup holders and you can lean on it as well. Unfortunately, there is a bit of a transmission tunnel coming through the rear area. It's not the biggest, it's certainly not flat, so it does mean, again, that expensive accident third child is going to have to just put their legs either side. Another thing I really like about this car is I know many cars now have coming home functions where the lights stay on for 10, 30, 2 minutes, whatever you want. The Kadjar has it on the key, so I don't know, let's say you're just further away. You just want to stick your lights on. It's fun as well. You want to do it over and over again. Here is your very bright sat nav and radio based, Spotify based, everything based center console. My only gripe is there's a big chunk of black here, and if that was a bigger screen, it'd be even better looking. You get voice command, you get Bluetooth and Apple CarPlay, and obviously Android Auto streaming across all models, which is very, very good. You don't have to pay anything extra for that. This model does get you the nav. Again, like other sort of Renaults in the range these days, everything safety-wise can be operated by the little symbol that looks like a road on the side, and you can lane departure warning, settings, automatic high beams, all these things that you can mess with, change, and use to suit yourself. Front armrest slides forward a little bit, nice. Again, doesn't do that in the Qashqai. You know, it's all nice. It is quite, I mean, up here everything is nice and smooth and soft and blue stitching, that's all good. Down here it does get a little bit more plasticky and harsh. These dials are straight out of a Dacia, so this is like the mid-range in the Kadjar, and it's probably the one, yes, it's going to push you above the €30,000 mark, but it is a more sort of nicer place to be with the glass and the interior and the colours and the half leather seats, and there's decent bolsters in them. It's just a nicer place to be. So if that's worth shelling out a few extra quid, that's for you to decide. Let me know if you do that. Cruise control again is down here. It's just a strange place to do it. I don't know why they do it, but you know, you go back then to your steering wheel to control the rest of your cruise. So this bit to turn it on, your speed limiter is also here. Why don't you just put it on the steering wheel?
With the GT line edition though, you get lots of aluminium feel plastic, you get more leather, more stitching, and you get very comfortable leather seats, which also have leg extenders, which are very, very nice on longer journeys. One of those things that you probably go, leg extenders, would I bother with them? Trust me, as soon as you start using them, it's very hard to not have them in a car. And this model also has blind spot. So there's a lot in it for your extra €2,600 wheels, leather, sound system, few extra features, park assist, things like that, that set the car up another notch.
There was one thing though, this. A lot of cars are doing it these days. So, hello. That's as far as it goes down. And if you want to put your arm and hang it out the window very coolly on a sunny day, you can't quite do it. So when it comes to hitting the road in the Renault Kadjar, all of these crossovers are not going to be the most exciting cars in the world to drive. I mean, that's not what they're designed for. This one is 115 brake horsepower. It has consistently done a little, like a smidgen over 6 litres per 100 kilometers from the diesel engine. Can't really complain about it. Like, I've watched the range on it change throughout the week by the tiniest of amounts, and I've been down to Kildare in this car and back, bit of motorway driving, bit of the M50, bit of normal around town driving. A nice mix of what you'd expect to be doing in a car like this that's going to cater for the whole family. And yeah, in terms of economy, it's just really, really frugal. Actually, I've been really pleasantly surprised about that. Seating position is good, visibility is good, there's no blind spots around the car as you look around. Even the B pillar here that sometimes can be just far too restrictive for a driver point of view is good and clear. The A pillars, you know, there's just general good visibility from the car. Seating position is good. So as far as the crossover lineup goes, there's certainly nothing in the Kadjar where it lacks compared to any of the competitors for the price and the model of car. It does look and feel like a bigger car, something compared to maybe the Qashqai. It does feel a little bit bigger. Certainly when you look over your bonnet just to see the surroundings of the car, it just feels like everything is a little bit longer in terms of parking. Sometimes if you're in 6th gear at about 80 kilometers an hour, you don't get access to the full band of torque as you might expect. So you really need to just be choosing your gears carefully when you're driving. As far as safety goes in the Kadjar, it scored very well. It has a 5-star NCAP safety rating. The car scored full marks for the protection of a 1.5-year-old baby in the back. So if this is the car you're looking for in terms of is it going to keep the children safe, is it going to stand up well in an impact, absolutely. If you got a question about any of the practicality of any of these cars, and particularly the Kadjar, from this video in terms of just getting things in and out of the boot and child seats and any questions at all like that, please leave one. And if you've liked some of the information in this video, please do give it a like. You'll help support the channel by doing so. And if you really are in a good mood, please feel free to hit subscribe. It's always appreciated. Catch you on the next episode of Nobby on Cars.